Let's talk some baseball, Jake. Jesus.
Dan, we'll talk about the best sport in the world. Let's go.
So bringing Jake on because there were some big baseball news that happened last night. Brandon Swanson is fucking ecstatic. He's like, let's go, White Sox, baby, White Sox. And we're talking about the White Sox. Let me see if I can find, nope, that's that one. There we go. White Sox, they sign Liam Hendriks to a multi-year deal. So free agent closer Liam Hendriks and the White Sox are in agreement on a multi-year deal pending physical. It's going to be a 3-year, which includes an option for the 4th, guarantees Hendriks $54 million, the 31-year-old closer. Jake, I'm going to hit you right out of the gates with a question that may be a hot take. We're going to 10 right away. Are the White Sox the favorite in the AL?
No. I don't think they're the favorites in the AL. I think they are. I mean, there is definitely going to be a 3-4 team race in the AL this year. Mm-hmm. But getting Liam Hendriks, getting one of the last needs that this team actually needs. Now, giving him that much money, we can talk about that a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But that's a lot of money for a reliever. But you are getting one of, if not the best closers in baseball. And now this moves Colome, who was good last year, to the 7th or 8th inning role, depending on what they want. Yeah. I mean, Liam Hendriks is a bona fide stud. His fastball and slider are amazing. He's got a curveball. I mean, he's in the 98th percentile for K strikes, K percentage, sorry. Mm-hmm. And he's in the 98th percentile for walk percentage. He doesn't walk people. He strikes out people a ton. He throws gas, and he's been consistent for now a couple years. So, I mean, this is what you needed. You needed a closer. You needed a guy that gives you a bona fide, like the Cubs did with Chapman. That's what they needed. They needed that bona fide closer, and that's what the White Sox went out and did. And he's going into his 32-year-old season. So, I mean, it's a great move all around for the White Sox.
And I'm glad you brought up the Cubs because the White Sox, to me, the reason why I feel like if you're a White Sox fan right now, be fucking ecstatic for this season because I have a feeling that I see a lot of parallels with what they are doing compared to what the Cubs did when they made the firing to fire. I find it ironic that Rick Renteria gets fired both times when this happens, by the way, too.
Sad man.
Ricky Renteria fired by the Cubs. Joe Madden comes in. I'll be honest, Joe Madden a better hire than Tony La Russa. I was a little questioning on that, but we'll see if it pans out. But, they've got a good young core, what the Cubs had when they went on their World Series runs and NLCS runs. You've added your closer. You added your closer like Chapman. The only difference is I kind of like the multi-year part because now it's like if it hits, and you have him next year. Because the one thing we have learned is that pitching rules in the postseason. You need pitchers to have a good postseason. And right now I look at the AL, I feel like all the moves we've talked about, Jake, the Padres, the Mets, all these NL teams are getting better. I have a feeling like we haven't talked at all about any AL teams making some big moves. I feel like the next big piece to drop is DJ LeMahieu in my mind of where does he go? I don't even know if the White Sox are even in on that chatter to get a DJ LeMahieu. Everything I've heard with LeMahieu is Toronto fans hoping that he signs with the Blue Jays. But you look at Tampa Bay, they traded Blake Snell. They're done. They're not going to be as good as they were last year. The Yankees and Toronto are probably the favorites atop that division. Oakland and maybe Houston, depending on what Houston does. But correct me if I'm wrong. George Springer still a free agent right now, or is that next year?
Correct. Okay. He's a free agent still, yep.
So he might not even be back in Houston.
Not.
Probably Oakland is your top spot. Maybe if either Seattle, LA, or Texas surprise us. And in the Central, the Cleveland's falling back. They don't have Lindor or Carrasco next year. I know they got pieces to help them win, but they're not Lindor or Carrasco. And I feel like the Sox have done enough to maybe overtake the Twins where this could be a team that if the Yankees and Toronto struggle, the Twins aren't proven to be a playoff threat. This White Sox team may be the favorites in the playoffs when we get to actually game one of playoff baseball.
Yeah, I mean, baseball is very unpredictable, but also at the same time pretty predictable. It's basically
One injury can fuck your season too, but that's any sport.
Completely. I wouldn't be so dismissive of the Rays. The Rays are probably the second best run franchise in the league, and they always make these puzzling moves, and then they're winning.
It works out.
And then they're winning 90 to 95 games the next season. Yeah. It's just what they do. It's very hard right now. You could say the White Sox are the favorite if you'd like, because a lot of things haven't fallen. Dominoes, we don't know where players are going to be. We know I know JD's saying Toronto for DJ. It was reported today the only team that's actually made an offer to DJ is the Yankees. So most likely he's going to end up back with the Yankees. It just depends. Money and value and all that. Unless somebody comes in and just throws money at him, which Mets or the Dodgers, whoever could, and that could change everything. But
I forgot the Mets are in on him too.
Reportedly. I don't know if I think those were bait headline. It's whatever. I think
you're like, besides the point.
Yeah, besides the point. I think Minnesota is one of those teams, also like the Rays, it's just always really well run. But guess what? They get to the postseason and they lose. They've lost they've lost like 18 straight postseason games or something like that. Like they're just they're not good. So the White Sox, they add Adam Eaton, they add Lance Lynn, they add Liam Hendriks. I mean, they literally fixed basically every need they had going into this offseason. And now if they can stay healthy during the season, whatever happens in this season, they're saying 162 games. I don't understand how they're going to do that. But I mean, the White Sox are setting themselves up and probably have had the second best offseason in the league behind the Mets.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm looking at their rotation right now, and like you mentioned some of them. Right now, the projected starting rotation for the Sox is Giolito, Keuchel, Lynn, and then Cease and Kopech, who are entering what year? They're 25, and basically Kopech's almost 25. He's 24.7.
If Kopech plays.
Yeah, that too. My question is with the bullpen is, do they need to make another move at some point, whether trade middle of the season, free agency, if there's someone out there? Because like Liam Hendriks is nice as a closer. Right now, yet again, this is just off of, I'm using Fangraphs.com. They have the rest of the pitchers in the bullpen being Aaron Bummer, Evan Marshall, Garrett Crochet, I hope I'm saying that right, Cody Hewer, Jace Fry, Matt Foster, and then Reynaldo Lopez. Is there a question of like, is it just me because the Sox bullpen, I'm not an expert on, Liam Hendriks is good. Do they have to add yet another, maybe one or two bullpen arms to make this bullpen really solid?
Yeah, I mean, that's always an option. Pitching, we see a lot with teams that contend. What do you say?
I said it dominates in the playoffs. Like I was saying.
Unless you're playing the Dodgers. Their lineup is just, all-star. Yeah. Rookie of the year, all-star.
I mean, when Kershaw pitches like he did last year, though, it's kind of hard to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, we talked about it. But yeah, the Dodgers are just the Dodgers, okay? Yeah, I mean, not every year, but for a majority of the teams that are contending every single year, there's always two or three bullpen arms that float out there around the trade deadline, and the teams that trade for them are always teams that are trying to make it to the World Series. There's something about adding another layer of security when you get to the postseason, like obviously the Indians and the Cubs in 2016 with Miller and Chapman. Yeah. The Yankees, you can see how important a bullpen guy is, just because the big thing in the playoffs is getting the bridge. You want to get from your starter to your back end relievers, but you need that one guy in the middle that can hold down, because usually in the postseason you might get 5 or 6 innings out of your starter, and then you need that 7th inning guy. Depending
on your coach too, because there are some times where coaches, if he's struggling in the third minorly, it, we're going to the bullpen. We have seen more, and I feel like more and more through my life as I've gotten older, the one trend that has been catching on is going away from the starter earlier and not being like, well, he's in there for 5 innings, good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing, because the Rays especially, that's why Blake Snell got so frustrated, because and somebody said when he got traded to San Diego, he can finally pitch past 5 innings because he won't be hooked so much by the team. And again, I can't really criticize the Rays because they were in the World Series and won games against the Dodgers.
Was it in the World Series where they had that puzzling, it was a third inning and everyone's like, why the fuck are you taking him off? Yeah. And Mad Rogue is right. Cough, cough, Joe Madden. I was used to that all the time, where it's like, why the fuck you taking Hendricks out in the 4th? And it's like, it panned out. Okay.
It's weird. Baseball is so but then there's the Yankees who take. Okay, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. There's
Pitch
times where it's gone
second
wrong.
inning. What the hell?
Yeah.
No, analytics almost go too far at some point. But yeah, I mean, bullpen is always so important, and when baseball is such a weird sport because this guy the last 2 years has been first or second. Him and Kirby Yates, you can swap between being first and second best closers in baseball.
Yeah.
But then if you look at his stats from the years before, he was mediocre at best. Relievers are just so hit and miss year to year that is why this contract. Well, it's 3 years, but
look at Kimbrel. Look at Kimbrel with the Cubs. Phenomenal. Cubs sign him. He's giving up home runs like they're fucking candy at a doctor's office.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, relievers flip flop. I was gonna make a joke. Realize we're on Twitch. Gonna retract that one. but so and this is actually one of something that's been talked about more is these contracts where he's guaranteed $54 million, but it could either be stretched over 4 years or they could stop after 3 years and they pay him over a lump sum of years. I don't know. It hasn't come out how long it is after the contract, but it's pretty interesting. The MLB has
Bobby Bonilla 2.0. They're paying him fucking 20 years down the line every July 1st.
Yeah. See, like JD said, he wasn't that great with the Blue Jays, but then he goes to a team like the Oakland A's, who are so Moneyball driven, analytically driven, and it takes him a couple years but the last 2 years, I mean, he's absolutely been. He was 9th in Cy Young voting this year. Okay, as a reliever, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah,
he was 13th in MVP voting. It's crazy.
Here's my thought process, and yet again, this is kind of why, if I'm a White Sox fan, or if you're a White Sox fan, I would be happy. Is I almost feel like go into this season with expectations being make the playoffs, possibly win the division. I think winning the division could be, because you were only a game out last year. I know last year was a little different because it was the shortened season. I think that played into it. Longer games, there's a lot more of like teams get into slumps. They go on heaters at different times. It's a different fucking season entirely. But if this team can crack through to the ALCS, I feel like your best scenario is make the playoffs. Whatever happens, happens. That's what you should maybe expect. But if this team can make it to the ALCS, then I think if they do make let's say they make the ALCS this year and lose, I think that another free agency season next year, we could be talking about the White Sox next year like the Cubs were going into 2016, where if they make the ALCS this year, they should be a World Series favorite next year.
I mean, I think this White Sox team is going to be very good for a very long time because it actually seems like their owner is now willing to spend money, which is...
I mean, Jerry Reinsdorf, same owner as the Bulls. Like, who knew he wants to spend money to win?
He wants to spend money, and they have an aggressive GM, and he's been doing great move after great move. And I mean, every single year that they Luis Robert gets another 400 at bats under his belt. I mean, this guy is going to be absolutely amazing. Like he's a freak.
I don't know if the window starts this year or next year. That's why I feel like next year may be the official start of the window, but this team may be entering a window soon of a like 3 to 4 year window of like, all right, how many World Series can we get to and win in 4 years? Now with the Cubs, it was 1. And yet again, wouldn't trade that World Series for anything. I'm so happy that happened in my life. But I'll be honest, I would be shocked if in the next 4 years, maybe next 5 years, if it starts next year, that the White Sox aren't in the World Series or winning a World Series.
Yeah, I would also tend to agree. I think their window could open up this year just because the AL, if DJ LeMahieu does leave the Yankees become question mark at best, especially if they don't add pitching. The Blue Jays are very good, but the Blue Jays are just like the White Sox. They're very the Blue Jays and the White Sox are going to be fighting it out in the AL. Yeah. There's obviously going to be the Titans, the Yankees, the Astros are still going to be there. The Astros still have a great team. They have a great front office. I know, bang bang, ha ha.
Do you think Oakland's still there because they won the division this year?
I mean, again, they're just like the Rays and Twins that we talked about. They're always they don't pay a lot of money, but they have such good front offices and they set themselves so well up and all. There's always those annoying teams. Do I think the A's are ever going to win a World Series in the next 4 years? No. But could they be a pain in the ass for the White Sox and make the White Sox have to go play in a wild card game? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, the only question with will the White Sox win a World Series in the next 5 years, we'll say, is if they have to go up against the Dodgers or the Padres or even the Mets, if the Mets continue to get well, I'll say more so Padres, Dodgers. There's a part of me that goes good fucking luck because I think I would take the Dodgers or the Padres in a series against the White Sox either this year or next year.
Listen, I'll make you like bold takes, Ricky?
I do. I love them.
Within the next 5 years, the Chicago White Sox will lift a World Series trophy.
I don't think that's that bold. I think I'd double down on that with you.
That's pretty bold.
And that's coming from a Cubs fan that I'd double down on.
I know.
That. But I would kind of
bold.
hate it because I know how White Sox fans are, and I'd fucking never hear the end of it. I never heard the end of it in 05 because the Cubs didn't have one. Now to be like, oh fuck, you got one, but you can't have two like us. Like, can't we just be happy for each other? Like, can't that be a thing?
We be friends?
Yeah, and we'll never be friends. South side, north side, till the day we die. But Jake, thank you for coming on talking baseball with me. Fucking love it. I love the conversations that we have. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome anytime, bud. But that's going to do it for the show today. Make sure, remember, join the Discord if you're not in it already. Link down below or !Discord in the Twitch chat. You can support us either one of two ways, patreon.com/MVPvids, or you can throw a sub to us on Twitch. If you have Prime Gaming, haven't used it, Amazon gives it to you each and every month. Why not throw it at us? Support us, even for the 1 month. We would appreciate it. We're always on Twitch Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. And we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Go ahead and have a great day. Dave and I will be back tomorrow talking more sports for you guys. And as always, have a good day, everybody.